another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week has gone well for you, and I hope that today has gone well for you. Today is Sunday, July the 7th, 2024. It's about 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Second video of the day, but I try not to upload more than one video a day. So I'll probably be putting this video out at a later date. So, but yeah, hope y'all had a great weekend. I hope that all is well. So let's talk about leasing a car, right? And what are my general thoughts on leasing? First of all, I wouldn't lease a car, but I can understand why someone would want to lease a car. Like, I get it. But for me, in my goals in my life, I would never lease a car, right? Let's talk about leasing. So with a lease, I kind of look at a lease as a long-term rental. So with a lease, you're essentially making monthly payments for a set amount of time. The one that I've seen the most is a 36-month lease, 3-year lease, right? And so you would make a monthly payment for 36 months, and then you'd have to either give the car back, or some leases allow you to buy out the car in the end, if you want to keep it. And so if you're somebody that doesn't want to keep a car, or just doesn't have the desire to keep a car for an extended period of time, I'm talking like several years, and you want to, you don't mind the mileage restrictions, and leasing might be for you, because with the lease, a lot of times you're making a lower monthly payment versus someone who has bought the car outright, or I should actually say finance the car versus somebody who financed the car. And a lot of times with lease, your monthly payment is going to be lower. And so if you're somebody who doesn't really have a long commute, leasing might work for you. You want that nice brand new car. You don't drive it much, but you want that nice new car, and you want to keep it a few years, and might be for you. And another thing is, you don't have to worry about really maintenance and repairs very much outside of routine maintenance. Most of the repairs a lot of times are going to be under the manufacturer's warranty. And so you really wouldn't have to worry about very much in the way of repairs and unexpected bills, right? Because of the manufacturer's warranty. And so, with the lease, that's how that goes. And so, I get it. Having a brand new car, that's cool, I guess. Latest and greatest gadgets and technology and screens and all that stuff, in these new cars. Hey, some people wouldn't mind, leasing. And so I get it. But here's my problem with leasing and why I wouldn't do it, because there are cons to leasing. So leasing is, in my opinion, pretty much a long-term rental. Like, you don't actually own the car outright. Like, you don't have that title in hand, right? So that's the thing about leasing. You don't, you're essentially dealing with a long-term rental. And so that's one thing that I don't really care for with the lease. But let's see, another thing is the mileage restriction. Like, let's say you want to drive a car, long distances. You take a lot of road trips. You take a lot of, well, let's just say your commute is far. You might end up going over your miles, right? And if you go over the miles, they make you pay extra. And then, with these leases, you still have to make like a down payment a lot of times, right? Like, if you want a lease that's like cheap, you have a cheap lease payment. A lot of times you're gonna have to make a down payment that's in the thousands of dollars. So that's something to keep in mind. But my main thing is, the fact that you're making these payments on something that you don't own, and you want to build wealth. You want to retire early. Car payments is something that you should be striving to eliminate, right? It's a bill that, in my opinion, is unnecessary. If you're going for a minimalistic lifestyle, I wouldn't go and lease a car at all. I wouldn't even finance a car, to be honest. I'd just buy cash. But, everyone's different. Like, if you're somebody who doesn't care about how their car looks, but they're more focused on whether the car actually runs or not, then leasing may not be for you. There's many people out here that care about, having the latest and greatest gadgets in their vehicle, screens, all that latest and greatest technology. I should say actually. And so, we're all different. That's kind of some of the reasons I wouldn't lease a car. It's just the fact that you have a mileage restriction. It's kind of like a long-term rental in a way. And, if you're on a wealth building journey, it's an extra bill that you just quite simply don't need. And, in my opinion, leases should really only be done when you're making over a certain amount of money anyway, because with a lease, at the end of the day, it's an extra payment. And you don't want, if you're going to finance or lease a car, you don't want a certain percentage. You don't want over a certain percentage of your money going toward a car, a depreciating asset, or some lease anyway. And so that's why I say, really, once you're over, a certain income, then okay, you should do a lease. But to me, if you're making under a certain amount of money, I wouldn't even consider leasing, because at the end of the day, we want to be wealthy, right? We want to grow our wealth, right? So we have to be disciplined with our money. Not go out and finance cars, go out and lease cars, right? We want to be disciplined with our money. And leasing a car simply because you want the nice gadgets and stuff. Look, I guess the number for me, I would say I wouldn't even consider leasing a car. I mean, I wouldn't do it anyway, but if I was somebody that was interested in leasing, if I'm making under $100,000 a year, I'll say that I wouldn't even consider leasing, right? So $100,000 a year, leasing shouldn't even be in our mindset, because we want to grow our wealth, right? We want to retire early. We want to get out of the whole, get up, go to work, come home, go to bed. We want to get out of that cycle as soon as possible. And when you do these leases, these finance these cars, you're essentially delaying that whole process. So, I mean, that's something that you pretty much have to keep in mind when you are thinking about these cars, right? Remember, a lot of wealthy people, right? A lot of wealthy people drive old cars. And so we have to, think about that fact, And my view on it is, what's the purpose of having a new car? Is it to show off to everybody? Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just, you just want a nice car. Maybe that's it. I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think that $300 or $400 lease payment can go towards something else. It can go in the stock market, right? You can buy some shares of stock with that $300 or $400. If you ask me, that's what I would do, right? Or at the minimum, like a high yield savings account or something. There's better uses to that $300 or $400 lease payment. And, even for the finance payment, right? You buy an old school cash car. That extra $300, $400, $500, you just throw in the stock market. You throw in a high yield savings account, even a regular savings account. It's better than spending it on some car, And like I always say, it definitely helps if you know how to work on your own car. I'm telling you, you're going to save money if you learn to work on your own car, right? And so, yes, I push the idea of an old cash car, but, that is the option that many people need if they want to achieve the fastest path towards financial independence and retiring early. We have to realize this. And so, with that, that's just my view on why I'd never lease a car. And, teach their own. I understand, everyone's different. Everyone has their different, has their own ideas and everything. So, I get it. So, whatever you do, it's all good. At the end of the day, do what makes you happy. But what I'm saying is, if you have the goal of, you know, building wealth and doing these type of things, then I wouldn't lease. I would stay as far away from a lease as possible. I would stay as far away from financing as possible. Right? I still think about my experience financing a car. I had financed a Corolla, 2017 Corolla, and man, they made me sign so many papers. And then they took me to this like office where the finance person like talked to me and everything. And man, they were trying to sell me all kind of different like warranties and stuff. It was ridiculous. Sorry, I was just thinking about that. They're good too. They have a way of trying to sell you all these different warranties that you probably aren't going to use anyway. You know. And I'm afraid to say it, but they got me with one of the warranties. I think they tried to sell me about 4 or 5 different warranties. And every time I say no to all the other ones, man, they were persistent. They gonna try to get that money out of you. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening.